What's going on, YouTubers, gamers and hobbyists, and welcome to this episode of my thoughts on the new updates that are coming out of Games Workshop right now regarding the new edition of Warhammer, or rather the 8th edition. And in this episode we're going to be looking at characters and weapons part 2. So I've done some more weapons. So we'll start with characters first. So you know the score by now. We go through it word for word. Pause if we need to. So characters, okay. Warhammer 40,000 is chock full of mighty heroes and powerful villains, from the humble Astra Militarum officer to the greater demons of chaos. These characters can profoundly affect the way their army's troops work on the battlefield. For you gamers, using these characters correctly can be the difference between victory and defeat. They can be very useful. Just going to get myself more comfortable here. Very useful indeed. The way characters interact with the rest of your army changes fundamentally in this new edition. Previously, independent characters would join units, and those units would benefit from the character's leadership and certain special rules, while the unit offered protection from enemy fire. Broadly, this worked pretty well, but there was a tendency in more competitive games to see multiple characters pooled into a single unit, resulting in all-conquering, unkillable mega unit with a smorgasbord of special rules. I think they mean a lot. A few psychic powers for good measure, and often some very unthematic pairings. In brackets, we're looking at you Dark Angels and Space Wolves running around in your Raven Wing Thunder Wolf units. So? So here's a big thing. Characters can't join units anymore. What? The age of the add prefix star is over. Instead, you'll tend to find that a lot of characters will have an ability that affects nearby units with a certain keyword within a radius of effect. For example, the mysterious Dark Eldar character, I'll probably butcher this name, Drazha, lets you add 1 to the hit rolls of all friendly incubi units that are within 6 inches of the fight in the fight phase, while the Kroot Shaper allows nearby Kroot to reroll wound rolls of 1 and share his superior leadership. That'll be handy for leadership skill, leadership tests, won't it? Like morale tests and things. To counter the fact that these characters cannot join units and hide from enemy fire, there is a rule in the shooting phase that means you can't target a character unless they are the closest model. Enemy model, make that quite clear. This represents the difficulty in picking out individuals amidst the maelstrom of battle, and applies to all characters with a wounds characteristic of 10 or less, including things that previously might not have benefited from any protection. For example, Robote Gilliman, who has 9 wounds, can now realistically advance in the centre of a disciplined Space Marines army, directing his troops while remaining relatively safe from incoming weapons fire. Really big heroes like Magnus the Red will still need to brave enemy fire, but with, in his case, over a dozen wounds and a respectable invulnerable save, he holds his own just fine. They say that, in a way that implies he holds his own just fine because we've tested it. So they must have tested it, and it's going to be really interesting to see the first few games that come out on this new edition. The final part of the character rule set is heroic intervention. That's cool. This allows characters near a combat to pile in and attack if the enemy comes close enough, even if they themselves aren't charged. In brackets, because your chaplain is not just going to stand there and let your assault squad have all the fun now, is he? That's good point. Good, I like that. That's good. These rules together mean that you'll see characters advancing in the midst of their armies, surrounded by groups of units benefiting from their particular expertise, which looks great on the tabletop, reflects the background we all know of the 41st millennium, and offers some interesting tactical challenges as players try to get the most from their army's leaders while keeping them alive. That's your update for today. Join us tomorrow and we look at more weapon profiles in the upcoming new edition, which is what we'll be doing momentarily. Well, that all sounds rather good. That sounds more like a particular section they've definitely play tested. I'm intending to play test a lot of things myself for this, so very interesting. I like that characters can just join a melee if it's near them, even though they weren't charged. I like that a lot. Okay, now on to weapons part 2. Excuse me, I've got a yawn coming. Whew. Okay, today we're taking a look at a few of the simple rules changes in the new rules for weapons, but ones that have some pretty cool game effects. Twin-linked weapons. If you play Warhammer 40,000 today, you'll know that there are a lot of twin-linked weapons about. Yep, these let you re-roll to hit dice, making them generally quite reliable, but potentially no more deadly than a single weapon. In the new Warhammer 40,000, twin-linked weapons instead get double the number of shots. Yes, that's the way I played it initially. As an incorrect rule, I was getting it wrong. I just thought, well, without bothering to look it up, I just assumed twin-linked weapons got double the number of shots. Wow, they'll be used to greater effect now. Twin-linked. This is a massive boost to a lot of units. Many vehicles in particular are going to be kicking out ruinous amounts of firepower. Your Land Raider, for example, almost doubles in effectiveness with its twin heavy bolters, and now utterly lethal Godhammer pattern las cannons. It becomes quite rightly one of the most powerful models in the game. Oh yeah. Orcs as well, renowned for their habit of twin linking for more Dakka, gain a lot of bullets from this change. Just think about the number of shots those planes will be firing now. You can't see it, but it's got a weapons profile there. It's a twin heavy bolter. The range is 36 inches. Type it's heavy, 6. Strength 5, AP -1. D, what's that? 0. Well, I can't read that. The printing didn't come out one. There's no abilities, but I think it's D1. Damage 1 probably. Combi Weapons, another type of weapon that is changing, is the Combi Weapon. While in the current edition you can only shoot the specialist portion of the gun once, in the new Warhammer 40,000 you can either shoot both all the time but add a -1 to hit modifier, or choose to just shoot one with no modifier. This is a pretty awesome boost in power for a lot of elite units like Chaos Terminators, Stern Guard and Mega Knobs. No longer just one-hit wonders with those shooting attacks. Alrighty. Okay. Some more stat lines here. We've got Combi Melter. Range. When attacking with this weapon, choose one or both the profiles below. If you choose both, subtract 1 from all hit rolls for this weapon. Right, okay. Right. So it was a D. Right, bolt gun. Range 24 inches. Type rapid fire 1. Strength 4. AP nothing. Damage 1. Melter gun 12 inches. Assault 1. Strength 8. AP -4. Damage D6. If the target is within half the range of this weapon, roll 2 dice when inflicting damage with it and discard the lowest result. That's pretty interesting. Explosives. Warhammer 40,000 has no shortage of things that go boom. Whereas once these weapons would have used a template in new Warhammer 40,000, these are resolved much faster by just using a random number of shots. This represents either how many warriors are caught in the explosion or how direct the hit is on a larger single model target. Otherwise, these work exactly as any other shooting. Explosives tend to work pretty well now against both numerous infantry and large individual models, but not as well against either dedicated anti-infantry or anti-tank weapons. It's got another profile weapon. Battle cannon, range 72 inches, type heavy D6, strength 8, AP -2, damage D3. Yeah. And that's it. So the next one will be hopefully data sheets, how they work. So there we go. Characters and some more weapons stuff. So thanks for joining me on this update run through. I like to do them 2 at a time. Sometimes there's going to be the occasion where I'm going to do one if it's like a lot of pages, so as the video isn't on too long. But there we are. Thanks for watching. Remember, all brushes lead to war. See you on the next video. Bye for now.